Hi, Deb Smith, life coach and licensed professional counselor. So, as I've shared, my daughter and her amazing fiance are getting married in a couple of weeks. And it's got me thinking about relationships and what goes into relationships. And there are two issues that seem to come up pretty frequently with clients, with friends, with family. One of them is this idea of tit for tat, this idea of scorecards, 50-50. You know, our relationship needs to be 50-50. You need to put up 50% of the money, I'll put up the other 50%. You need to do 50% of the house cleaning, I'll do 50%. 50% of child care, all of this nonsense of shared. This needs to be shared, it has to be equitable. Nothing in life is truly equitable in the moment. It just isn't. It doesn't work that way. What happens is when we look at the relationship down the road, when we look at the relationship years later, and it could be a relationship with an intimate partner, with a boss, with a sibling, it doesn't really matter. We're just looking at relationships. They are 50-50 at the end of the day. And the end of the day could be 70 years down the road. It doesn't mean that the end of the day is literally, 12 hours later. So when you're thinking, okay, this relationship needs to be 50-50. Well, if we're both working and I decide I want to stay home and take care of the kids, how is my financial end going to be 50-50? If I'm now home and we don't have the money to do the things that we did before, have someone come in and help with cleaning, lawn care, laundry, whatever. Now, am I going to expect you to do 50% of all of that when I'm home and it's a little bit easier for me to maybe do 60 or 70% of that? No, the expectation needs to change. So this idea of 50-50 in relationship needs to be altered, needs to be viewed from a very different lens. There's no such thing as 50-50. If you're sick and you're sick for an extended period of time, I'm not going to expect you to continue your 50% of the yard work. It's not possible. It just isn't. So sometimes relationships are 30-70, sometimes they're 60-40, sometimes they're actually 100% and 0, depending on what's going on. But as I said, at the end of the day, at the end of that road, the end of this journey that this relationship is on, yes, it was 50-50, because when the opportunity arose for the other person to pitch in, to help out, to be there, they were. When the opportunity came for you to pitch in, to help out, to be there, you were. So that's where it looks like 50-50 at the end, but it doesn't look like 50-50 on a daily basis. So we need to look at that. So in that is this idea of expectation. What are our expectations of our partners, and are they realistic? Do they make sense? Do they make sense for us? Do they make sense in our family, in our living environment, in the conditions that we're in right now? Do we talk about them, or do we just have these underlying expectations and then become disappointed because those expectations weren't filled? So communication is really, really important. Now, communication is another issue because there are relationships where communication is very mood dependent. So if somebody comes home cranky or seemingly unapproachable, then you have to hold on to whatever it is that's bothering you, whatever it is that you want to discuss, until they're in a better mood. No, that's not how it works. If there's something that's weighing on me, that's just splitting me in two, and you came home in a bad mood because somebody said something, or because somebody cut you off on the expressway, sorry, we're in a relationship and you need to listen. You need to take a moment. You need to say, you know what, I need 10 minutes. I just need to hop in the shower, and then I'm all ears, I'm all yours. But relationships and communication cannot be mood dependent. We shouldn't have to walk on eggshells around our partners before we broach a subject or bring up a topic or share a crisis. That's just not the way relationships work. So, talk, okay? So I wish you well in your relationships, all of them, and a very, very blessed and happy day.